Court is calling 2023 CR 4709, State versus Edgar Aguilar. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Defense.
Megan Enriquez and John Coons for Edgar Aguilar.
And are you Edgar Aguilar?
Yes.
All right, we have an interpreter here. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Carmen Tarragona Nazareth.
All right, so we're here for sentencing today. The jury rendered their verdict and count.
Okay, pause right here. Notice how the jury split the counts, 1 not guilty, but 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That's a huge distinction, folks. It's the difference between a slap on the wrist and facing serious prison time. Quick question for you viewers: if you were on this jury, how would you weigh intent versus outcome? Let me know in the comments.
Yes, Judge.
All right, do you all need to sit down for this or no?
No.
All right. All right, Lopez, please.
Aguilar.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Victor Lopez.
All right, state.
Mr. Lopez, are you a resident of Bear County?
Yes, I am.
How long have you lived in Bear County?
About 34 years.
Okay, and are you currently employed?
Yes,
What type of line of work do you do?
I do HVAC and maintenance.
And I know you know that you're here regarding an incident that occurred on March 16th, 2023, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall what you were doing that day?
We're coming from the main office that I used to work for, going to another apartment to go work already.
Okay, and when you say leave, who are you referring to?
Yeah, my friend Augustine, he was my coworker and we became friends.
And what kind of car were you driving?
We were driving a black Explorer.
Okay, and do you recall what highway you were traveling on?
We're going 410.
And what direction were you going? Like towards the airport?
And, he had me there, trapped.
Did you get to see who was driving the car behind you?
Yes, it was a family. It was a guy with his wife and his 3 kids. They were behind me and, he had us there. So, yeah.
Just a moment. Excuse me.
Old truck reversed into you. Could you hear or see anything?
Yeah, he had us pinned there for, it felt like forever. But I can hear the tires and see the smoke from his pin. It was a gun. We showed the cops and everything. It wasn't loaded. We were trying to scare him off, but I couldn't get off because my seatbelt got stuck. So I told my coworker, "Hey, get off." Tried to scare him off, and my coworker got off, went to his side, and pointed the weapon.
And what effect, if any, has this incident had on you?
Oh, my life's changed. I mean, every time I drive, or my mother's driving, or my wife is driving.
Listen to this. Victor is explaining just how this incident changed his everyday life, hyper aware of every car, every honk. That's the kind of long-lasting impact these violent encounters can have on witnesses. And here's something to think about: even when the physical danger ends, the psychological footprint lasts. How do you think trauma like this influences a trial?
And the truck we were driving. And
All right. Any questions?
Very briefly, when your coworker Agustin pulled the weapon on Mr. Aguilar, you said he was saying, "Shoot me," to him.
Mr. Aguilar was saying, "Shoot me." Yes.
Did it appear that he was trying to die by suicide?
Objection.
No, it didn't appear to me because I don't think he was trying to kill himself. I think he was trying to kill other people. That's the way I felt.
But he didn't have. Did he have a gun or a knife or anything like that on him? Did you ever see Mr. Aguilar?
He was reaching for. I feel like he was reaching for things to get on top of his truck and try to stop him from getting stuff from his truck.
And when the gun was pointed at him, he said, "Shoot me."
Yes, he did.
Nothing further.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
State.
Mr. Aguilar, were you in your right mind on March 16th of 2023?
No.
No,
Do you recall any of the events that happened on March 16th of 2023?
No.
no,
Do you have any memory of all of these accusations and evidence that has been brought against you?
Es muy poquito lo que recuerdo. Son partes muy cortas.
it's very little that I remember. They're like short bits and pieces.
Are you embarrassed and horrified to hear all of these things that you were doing on March 16th of 2023?
Claro,
Of
claro que
course,
sí.
of course I am.
How does it make you feel to hear all of these things and to see the video and review all of this evidence?
Fatal, muy mal.
Terrible, very, very bad.
During the 2 weeks leading up to March 16th, 2023, were you under the heavy influence of methamphetamine?
Como ya les había explicado desde el principio,
As I had explained from the beginning,
yo estaba pasando por una crisis de mi vida muy fuerte.
I was going through a very strong, bad crisis in my life.
Yo me
And here's the twist, Aguilar admits he was under the influence of meth while struggling with suicidal thoughts. Legally, voluntary intoxication isn't a full defense, but it can sometimes influence sentencing. This is a textbook example of mitigation versus excuse, something judges have to weigh carefully. Would you be more lenient knowing intent was self-harm, not outward aggression?
You do know that you were ingesting these drugs purposely, right?
sí, sí la estaba yo ingiriendo
Yes, I was
a
ingesting them
propósito para quitarme la vida.
purposefully to kill myself, to take my own life.
And what happened as a result of what happened to your mind because of all of these drugs is what led to all of these cases, right?
Exactly.
And you've been in custody for nearly 2 years now, since March 16th of 2023, right?
Sí,
Yes,
And you've obviously been sober and you've had time to reflect on everything that happened on that day and leading up to that day, right?
sí,
yes,
And you've essentially lost your family, right? Your wife and your children.
todo hasta mi libertad.
everything, even my freedom.
And it's been an agonizing almost 2 years, just knowing everything that happened and pain you have caused to other people, your family, and to strangers, right?
Exactamente.
Exactly.
And you're not a U.S. citizen, is that correct?
No, tenía nomás un permiso y el proceso de estar aquí con permiso y seguro ser para trabajar.
No, I only had a permit and I was in the process. I had a permit to work.
You were a resident and you had a work permit, is that correct?
Sí,
And you were in
Yes.
the process of working with an immigration attorney to become a U.S. citizen.
residente.
Resident.
And you know that because of these 2 convictions, that may not happen, and it's very likely that you could be deported to Mexico, is that correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you're asking for mercy from this court to give you.
Heads up, this is where the courtroom gets real. Not only is Aguilar facing prison, but he's also risking deportation. The judge isn't just thinking about criminal justice here, but also immigration consequences. This raises the stakes even higher. 2 years behind bars could change his entire life trajectory. What would you do in his shoes?
Que si pudiera hacer eso,
If you could do that.
pero sé que también se mira mal por los hechos.
But I also know that it looks bad based on the facts.
O sea, cuando lo hace uno intencional, yo creo que sí se merece tiempo.
When you do it intentionally, I do think you deserve the time.
Y si llegué a un juicio, no fue porque sea cínico, sinvergüenza,
And if I went to trial, it's not because I'm cynical or shameless,
sino porque yo no estaba consciente, no recordaba todo lo que pasó.
but because I wasn't aware, I didn't remember everything that happened.
Porque también tengo familia y no quisiera que pasara que le hicieran intencional a mi familia.
Because I also have a family and I wouldn't want someone to do intentionally to my family.
Fue por eso que llevé esto a trial, no por,
That's why I took this to trial,
no porque sea así.
not because I'm cynical.
No further questions.
State any questions?
Mr. Aguilar, you've been arrested for possession of a controlled substance in Austin, Texas, is that correct?
Por una cerveza. Sí, una botella de cerveza.
Yes, over a beer, yes, a bottle of beer.
And do you recall when you were in custody in the Bexar County Jail, you met, with the doctor to evaluate your mental state?
¿En San Antonio?
In San Antonio?
Yes,
Sí.
Yes.
okay. And do you recall reporting to that doctor that you had been, doing methamphetamine for at least a year prior to being arrested?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you were arrested, that wasn't the first time that you had ingested methamphetamine, correct?
No, ya tenía más o menos 15 días que era todo de día y noche.
No, it had been like 15 days that I would do it day and night.
Okay. And during this time, you weren't sleeping or doing anything productive?
No,
Honestly, nothing. No dormía más que una hora.
I didn't sleep, but maybe an hour.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. And so you lived on the same street as those victims, correct?
Si viven en esa calle, sí.
If they live on that street, yes.
Okay. And so you followed them from that street to where the incident occurred on 410, right?
Cuando me pregunta que si las iba siguiendo, no recuerdo esas partes que me dicen que
When you're asking me if I followed them, I don't remember those parts where you're.
Okay. And are you aware that the doctor's conclusion was that you were not suffering from any severe mental disease or defect at the time that you engaged in this conduct?
sí, padezco de migraña.
Yes, I suffer from migraines.
Okay. We have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right.
I just
Any
wanted
follow-up?
to clarify one thing briefly. You had been using methamphetamine for a whole year prior to March 16th of 2023, correct?
No, casi no un año, era como como 6 meses de lo que pasó para atrás.
Not a year, like it's 6 months before what happened.
Quite some time before the March 16th of 2023, right?
Sí,
Yes,
But you were using it in what you thought were lethal dosages to try to take your own life about 2 weeks prior to the incident.
exacto.
exactly.
And are you extremely sorry for what happened to that woman and her daughters?
Vuelvo a decir, sí me siento fatal, me siento
I will say it
triste
again.
por todo lo que pasó.
I feel horrible. I'm very sad about everything that happened.
And just to be clear, you don't remember them being your neighbors, correct?
No,
Or you're
No.
just saying you did live on Rosa Trail, and if they did live on Rosa Trail, then y'all were possibly on the same street.
sí,
But you have no
Yes, yes.
recollection of these people from, being your neighbors. Okay.
No.
Is there anything else that you want Judge Boyd to know that she hasn't already heard in the trial or here today that you would like her to consider before she makes her decision?
Lo único es la condena no sea como si fue en los 5 sentidos.
The only thing would be that the conviction, the sentence isn't as if I had done it in with my 5 senses.
Pues como dijo la abogada, si pudiera la condena reducir.
Like the attorney mentioned, if you could reduce the sentence.
All right. Any other questions, defense?
Nothing further, Judge.
State, any further questions? All right. Any other witnesses, defense?
No, none from the defense.
State, any rebuttal witnesses? All right. The court will hear argument and state.
Judge, we're asking for 10 years and TCJ. I will agree with what the defendant and his counsel have represented. His conduct on that day was embarrassing and horrifying. And the 3 victims, Raquel, Fatima, and Brittany, also found it horrifying. And then the punishment witness that we brought in today, Victor, also found it horrifying. So much the fact that Brittany, Raquel, and Fatima, I mean, Your Honor, I would ask you to take judicial notice of the evidence that was presented in the trial, but the court was able to observe their demeanor when they came in here, and they're still very much in fear over what happened on that day. And Mr. Lopez, who testified today, testified that he believed that the defendant was trying to kill him on that day. And so that's why we asked the money.
All right. And then with regards to the lesser included offense?
I'll defer to it.
All right. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor, just a brief argument. We sat through the whole entire trial. I think it's undisputed that he was under the influence of methamphetamine combined with alcohol. He was attempting to take his own life. He's horrified to learn. He has very little memory of what occurred on that day, and he's been horrified for the past 2 years to learn more and more details of what happened that day, to see himself on video, to hear from these witnesses and hear their experience. We are not condoning his behavior. He's not excusing his behavior. However, I would like the court to also just consider and take note that he's not a United States citizen. He's had an ICE hold at the jail throughout the time he's been in custody since March 16th of 2023. Because of these convictions, there are second-degree felonies, aggravated offenses. We believe that it's like the likely outcome is that he will be deported in light of these convictions. So based on that, he has almost 2 years in custody. March 16th, 2020 of this year will be 2 years. We ask that the court sentence him to the minimum and then come what may on the immigration front, and that way he could try to rebuild his life in Mexico and try to find family. He does have an ex-wife and 3 minor children here that prior to this incident, he did help financially support. His wife, or excuse me, ex-wife wasn't able to be here due to obligations with the children, but we are in contact with her. She did represent to us that he did financially provide for her and the children leading up to this event. So with that and with all the evidence you've heard, especially his mental state at the time, we ask that you sentence him to 2 years TDC.
All right. And with regards to the lesser included offense?
We'll also defer to the court.
Everybody's deferring to the court on, I want to know what you all are asking for.
Yeah, the Class C, so.
So it's, as a Class C, I believe the range of punishment for that is $0 to a $500 fine. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. So I think, not that I'm saying that it's not important, there is no imprisonment associated with that. So whether I give a $0 fine or not, and these fines that are collected, no one knows where they go. So with regards to count one, the lesser included offense of assault, I'm going to do a $0 fine on that one. Now, with regards to counts two and counts three, Mr. Aguilar, I understand that sometimes we do things, maybe we're under the influence of drugs. It is no doubt in my mind that you were under the influence of some type of substance based upon the testimony that the court heard. And based upon the officer saying there was dos equis in the vehicle that had been consumed and some that were not consumed, and also based upon the finding of meth. I understand that sometimes if we were not under the influence of certain things, that we would behave differently. But as you know, and as your attorneys know, voluntarily consuming drugs or alcohol is not a defense to.
Important legal nugget here, folks. Voluntarily using drugs doesn't excuse your actions, though it can explain them. This is where law meets human behavior. You might feel sympathy, but the law draws a line. Intent matters, but so does accountability. It's a delicate balance. What's your take on justice versus understanding?
There's a mention of him having alcohol or some type of drug substance. In Austin, is there anything else?
Judge, as far as convictions go, he did have a state jail trip on a possession less than a gram. That's all that I'm aware of.
All right. Anything else from either side before I pronounce sentence? All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Counts 1, 2, and 3 are to run concurrently. Count 1, there's a $0 fine. And the reason why I'm giving a $0 fine as opposed to a $500 fine is, first off, no one knows where those fine monies go. Legally, and what I've read, I know where it's supposed to go. But when people are looking for those fees that have been deposited, no one can find them. So that's why I'm giving you a $0 fine on that. Counts 2 and counts 3. In each of those cases, the court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison.
Boom. There it is, 8 years, credit for time served, and an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. This is the moment where all the courtroom drama crystallizes. And notice, the judge even talks about therapeutic programs, acknowledging rehabilitation alongside punishment. The takeaway? Courts aren't just about retribution, they also think about the future. How much should rehabilitation weigh in cases like this?